At exactly 5:32 a.m., the quiet wasn't broken by birds or wind, but by the roar of a chainsaw tearing through a leaf-weighing tree. I bolted upright in bed, thinking a storm had hit, only to realize the real disaster was unfolding in my orchard. There, in cheetah-print yoga pants, oversized sunglasses, and a smug grin, stood Linda Haverford, the HOA president and self-appointed ruler of our neighborhood. She was directing a hired crew, already halfway through their fifth tree, under the glare of portable floodlights like it was a midnight logging championship. Sipping from a giant Starbucks cup, she barked, "Don't miss that crooked O-Night's been leaning like it's in charge." I stood frozen in my pajamas, staring at 6 years of federal research being reduced to sawdust because a woman with a clipboard decided my orchard looked messy. I don't recall putting on shoes. I just remember sprinting barefoot across the field, yelling louder than ever before. The chainsaws didn't stop. One worker glanced up, nodded at Linda, and kept cutting. I waved my arms, shouting again until someone finally killed the nearest saw. The silence was deafening. Linda turned with mock surprise, as if I'd crashed her book club. "Mark, darling, relax. We're enhancing the VYEW. This boosts property values. You should be grateful." I gasped, chest heaving, torn between screaming and nausea. "Those are protected research trees. You just committed a federal offense." Linda tilted her head and laughed. "Oh, please. I looked up your little grovites, just fruit trees. Plant new ones." Her words didn't just stun me, they revealed her ignorance. These weren't ordinary trees, they were hybrid saplings, the result of years of experimentation to resist drought, disease, and frost. I was part of a classified USDA project under a strict NDA, unable to tell neighbors the truth. But Linda didn't care about facts, she cared about lawn uniformity and mailbox colors. Now she'd obliterated part of a DO-LA 3 million USDA pilot in less time than it takes to brew coffee. I raced back to the house, grabbed my binder packed with USDA clearance forms, my contractor badge, soil sample permits, and laminated tags for every tree, and returned, waving it like a flag. "These are federally coded. Each tree is tracked by satellite. You destroyed government property." Linda sauntered over, snatched the binder, flipped a page, scoffed, and tossed it into the mud. "Honestly, Mark, if you're faking documents, at least use decent paper, not this glossy nonsense." She turned to the crew. "Keep going, boys. Let's finish before lunch." I stood paralyzed as another tree fell. I didn't know whether to call the cops or the Pentagon. Worse, neighbors in robes and slippers watched like it was a reality show. One guy even brought popcorn. No one stepped in. Linda's reign over the HOA had made her untouchable. People feared her fines, her snarky emails, and her knack for turning gossip into gospel. I was now the local lunatic hoarding government trees like a conspiracy theorist. In desperation, I pointed to a yellow USDA tag dangling from an untouched tree. "Look, it's a federal tag. You can't remove those." Linda raised an eyebrow, strutted over, and ripped it off with flair. "See? Gone." She waved it like a prize. "While they dosing the fruit cops?" The crew chuckled. I didn't. That tag had a GPS tracker, and its removal would soon ping a silent alarm at the USDA's regional office, triggering a code green protocol. Linda had just declared war on the Department of Agriculture, and the USDA doesn't mess around when half a decade of research is at stake. I retrieved my binder, wiped off the mud, and went inside. My hand shook as I opened a secure app and hit the red button I never thought I'd use. It sent an encrypted alert to my Super VY Source satellite phone, flagging my coordinates and drone feeds as an active sabotage event. Outside, Linda posed for a selfie by a pile of sawdust, chirping, "This'll look great in the HOA newsletter." "Mark, don't be so dramatist, it's just landscaping." She had no clue that within hours, federal agents would knock on her door, that my property's cameras, linked to USDA surveillance, had recorded her every word, or that those ugly trees were part of a global seed-sharing program for drought-stricken regions in Africa and Asia. She thought she was tidying up. She was digging her own legal grave. When I pressed that button, things moved fast. Within 3 hours, 2 black SUVs with federal plates rolled up. 3 agents, 2 men and a woman in dark suits, stepped out, one with a drone case, another with a rugged tablet. Linda was still lounging in a lawn chair, sipping cucumber water like a suburban queen. The agents didn't bother with my doorbell. They headed straight to the orchard, scanning stumps and soil. A drone buzzed overhead, snapping aerial shots. Within minutes, they tallied the damage. 17 trees gone, 11 tags ripped out, 1 project gutted. Linda, noticing the active VY tie, marched over in her sun hat, voice dripping with fake courtesy. "Excuse me, is there a reason federal agents are poking around our gardens?" Agent Torres, a tall man with zero patience for theatrics, replied, "Ma'am, this site is under investigation for unauthorized destruction of federally protected research materials." Linda's eyes narrowed. "I'm the HOA president. Any issues go through our legal team." She offered a business card. He ignored it. "You're not authorized to oversee this land. It's outside HOA jurisdiction under USDA contract. Your name's logged as ordering the crew." For a split second, I saw doubt flicker in Linda's eyes, but she doubled down. "You're mistaken. These were nuisance trees. I have a signed HOA motion for their removal." She waved a freshly printed paper. Torres didn't blink. Agent Williams pulled up a tablet showing satellite logs, timestamps of tags being torn, geofencing breaches, and thermal imaging. The system flagged this site as compromised at 6:07 a.m. "You were recorded ordering the removals." Linda stared at the screen, speechless for once. What followed was a bureaucratic sledgehammer. The agents issued an on-site cease and desist, freezing all landscaping on my land. They also served the HOA a records request for emails, approvals, contracts, and payments tied to my property. Linda muttered about privacy rights, but Williams handed her a federal subpoena form, saying flatly, "Refusal risks CIVYL penalties and obstruction charges." Linda's jaw flapped like a broken gate. Back at the HOA clubhouse, her personal palace panic set in. Board members who'd rubber-stamped her plans out of fear or laziness scrambled to distance themselves. One, Greg, claimed he never saw the papers. Another said they were on vacation. Linda tried rallying them, preaching a united front against government overreach, but no one bit, especially when agents requested clubhouse security footage. It showed Linda sliding unauthorized removal orders under doors, smirking. Things escalated when Torres confirmed an herbicide used during the destruction had contaminated a groundwater well behind the orchard, something Linda didn't even know existed. The chemical spike meant the site faced potential quarantine, turning a tree scandal into an environmental crisis. The agents returned to my house, expanding surveillance and collecting soil and air data. They handed me immunity papers shielding me from local HOA rules during the investigation. I signed without hesitation. That night, Linda tried damage control with an HOA-wide email titled "Clearing the Air." She claimed my orchard was a hobby garden, the agents were on a routine check, and I was exaggerating. She even attached a blurry photo of my drone dock, hinting I was spying on neighbors. I forwarded it to Williams, who replied, "This confirms intent to deceive." An hour later, agents hit the clubhouse with an updated subpoena, now including defamation. The neighborhood buzzed. Residents, fed up with Linda's antics, faced real fallout. One couldn't sell their house due to the federal probe. Another missed a contractor job because the clubhouse was sealed. Linda's empire was crumbling. My USDA supervisor, Dr. Ellis, called, urging calm and warning of media attention. This could ripple across test zones. "Nice job on the drone alarm, it just passed beta." By day's end, the orchard was taped off with yellow federal warnings. Linda drove by 3 times, slower each pass, not smiling. Her newsletter went quiet, her parties canceled. Her reign, built on fines and Facebook, was unraveling one subpoena at a time.